Can unique chains come together, uniting their efforts to achieve even more than they could individually? Our number one moment is a great example of how this is done. Hello and welcome to the second installment of the top 10 quarterly moments of EOSIO. Now, please keep in mind, none of this is financial advice, and you're strongly advised to do your own research. This is brought to you by the team at Helios, myself, Chris Barnes.
And Waxer.
Now, let's start with number 10, Elarium on Ultra.
Yeah, so Elarium is a graphically amazing looking game, and it's coming to Ultra as a AAA title with NFTs also on Ethereum. Since we last covered this upcoming game, they have updated their website with more information about the game types and have released some very good looking NFTs, which can be found on their Twitter account. And the link for which will be in the description. Recommend having a look at their account and following and keeping up to date with this game that's coming out on EOSIO. So for number 9, we have the Yield Plus Blue Paper.
That's right. So the Yield Plus Blue Paper was released in Q2 and looks to be one of the faster papers to be acted on from the suite of papers commissioned by the ENF. The most recent Q2 report from the ENF references paper that outlined both the details of the liquidity incentive program, as well as proposals for the technical infrastructure required to execute such a program. The Q2 report also stated that all of the Yield Plus technical developments are expected to be completed in Q3. After code audits and testing are completed, the EOS Liquidity Incentive Program and aggressive DeFi marketing campaign will begin. Many of us in EOS are certainly looking very forward to this program and the opportunities it can provide. On to number 8, the EOS Exchange Traded Product creation.
Yeah, so on April 5th, the number one moment was about the EOS ETP. It was successfully launched on the 31st of March 2022 by Iconic Holdings and has the ticker of IEOS. The ETP is up and running and has 100% physically backed EOS. Each ETP gives the holder a claim on a predefined amount of EOS. And I'm looking forward to see if any traditional investors make a claim to their own EOS bags during this bear market, ready for the bull market. And now for number 7, the Recover Plus Blue Paper was released.
Yeah, so the second blue paper covered in our top 10 was the Recover Plus. So the Recover Plus blue paper marks the formalization of the process by which applications can work with the EOS block producers to reduce the potential losses incurred when they are hacked. This is centered around the concept of intentive code as law versus the more basic code as law approach. If we accept that bugs happen and we want to attract larger amounts of capital, i.e. via the previously mentioned Yield Plus initiative, then to have a means to prevent losses from code bugs and hacks is quite attractive. For more information about this recovery platform, check out eosrecover.com, where dApps can sign up, find details for bug bounties, and see how much TVL is actually enrolled into this program. In addition, there's a nice flowchart that shows how exactly the program works from signing up to submitting an incident, and then what happens in terms of intervention from there. Trust EVM, EOS's first EVM implementation is coming.
Yeah, so the Trust EVM was our number one moment of the week on the 24th of April, as well as the 2nd of May. So this is arguably one of the most anticipated updates coming to EOS in the near future. And via the Helios incubator, we have already seen founders looking to use this technology, which is great, showing that already we have outreach beyond our current ecosystem. So the EVM ultimately will enable Ethereum users to leverage the limitless powers of horizontal and vertical scaling via EOS without centralized sequences. And for number 5, we have Pomelo with over $1 million in grants.
Yes, so Pomelo is fast becoming a staple in the EOS and EOSIO ecosystem with its quarterly seasons where providers of public goods can put up proposals for funding. If you're looking for funding and have a project that is non-excludable, meaning open to all, and non-rivalrous, meaning one person's usage doesn't remove access from another person's usage, then you should definitely check out pomelo.io. The Q2 season had over $1 million distributed from the network to the various projects. Season 3 is just now getting underway, with so far a committed $350,000 worth of matching funds on the table. A couple standout projects from past seasons of Pomelo are Zeos, a transaction privacy protocol for EOS being developed, the EOS Bees, providing a really unique form of marketing and that any EOS community member can participate in, and Bywire News, top-notch media publication platform that covers all the bits of any EOS and EOSIO fan would like to know. And now for number 4, the ENF grant framework is live.
Yeah, so on April 17th, our number one moment was about the ENF grant framework. Categories included core EOSIO chain, submodules, development tools, UI development, backend development, and cryptography. The grants are available in 3 stages. We have small at $10,000, team or medium at $50,000, and company or large at over $50,000. So throughout Q2, the ENF made significant strides enabling community-driven projects to solve a variety of challenges, retain talent, and bring significant value into EOS ecosystem. Since launching the grant framework, the ENF have approved 7 milestone-driven grant applications and continues to evaluate new proposals on an ongoing basis. So very successful so far. And for number 3, Telos was at Consesus.
Yeah, so Telos has undertaken by far the biggest event push of any EOSIO chain thus far this year. Their presence at this year's Decentral and Consesus event in Austin, Texas was impressive, to say the least. They had banners everywhere, and even more so had people everywhere sporting the Telos brand on their backs. There were daily recap videos that you can find on the Hello Telos YouTube channel, and some great fireside chats from their own private room at the event. We've not seen many of those fireside chats, but when they are released, we'll be sure to let you know. As Telos pushes like they have been to create awareness for their great platform, I, for one, am very excited to see the future of this chain, community, and ecosystem as a whole. Speaking of exciting news for the ecosystem as a whole, our number 2 moment from Q2 is just that. The Mandel upgrade to the EOSIO protocol code is coming along as planned.
So on June 20th, our number 1 moment was about Mandel 3.1 release. The weekly YouTube videos that have been put out on Everything EOS YouTube channel are well worth a watch to keep updated with progress. Mandel 3.1 marks the very first community-led release for the EOSIO protocol that includes a number of feature upgrades from the new transaction submission API endpoint that also allows for better traceability of failed transactions, a new API to query the final status of a transaction, and the ability to have a cost of computation be estimated without actually committing to the transaction. And that's just to name a few. It's expected Mandel will be live on EOS mainnet in September, which is just in time for the release of the Trust EVM on EOS. And for number 1, our top EOSIO moment of this quarter is about the EOSIO Coalition update.
Right. So when we look at top moments from the entire quarter and considering our primary focus being all of EOSIO, it should be no surprise that our top moment is tied to the EOSIO Coalition. This is a coalition of 4 chains, EOS, Telos, WAX, and the UX network, who have come together to create a shared treasury, which is currently $8 million, to then deploy those funds to achieve shared goals surrounding EOSIO protocol upgrades. The 3 primary bits that have been worked on thus far is a rebranding exercise for EOSIO, which we've yet to see the results of, SDK improvements to make lives for developers easier, and the last is working on faster transaction finality. The transaction finality is especially exciting since having finality at 1 to 6 seconds is a huge improvement from where it is today, closer to 180 seconds. But also there's talk that this upgrade will bring in the ability to increase the number of block producers from the current 21 on most EOSIO chains to as many as 100. A complaint we hear sometimes is EOSIO chains are not decentralized enough. Well, if we can have more than 4x the number of block producers or validators, we've essentially more than 4 times the decentralization level of any chain that chooses to implement this change. What's also really exciting is the EOSIO Coalition has a list of 22 items to be worked on and have only just begun working through that list. We'll certainly be keeping a very close eye on this group, so be sure to follow us if you want to stay up on the recent events and announcements coming from the coalition.
That concludes this quarterly report. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe, as we will be back, as always, every Sunday with the top 5 EOSIO moments of the week.
And more than just subscribe, hit the bell.
Smash it.
Smash it. Smash the bell. You can do more than subscribe. It's really not enough. You should be sharing this. You should be talking about it with your friends. You should be hitting the like button at least. I mean, we've spent all this time making fumbles and errors and all sorts of cuts and